Hello, Set to Love community. We have a special guest here with us today. This is Karen. Karen, what's your last name? I don't even know I just know you as Karen.
It's Roberts.
Karen Roberts.
Roberts. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome. I'm going to put the mic here so we can both.
Perfect.
That's good. Well,
Thank
welcome
you.
to our show. Thank you so much for being willing to do this and come on. And thank you so much for even reaching out after you read the book or while you were reading the book. I love that you had the intuition to I'm going to email this lady. What made you think to even do that?
I've done it quite a few times. Sorry, say that again.
I said, how'd you even find the book to begin with? Let's start there.
Well, I've searched for flow-related books for quite some time. I'm a bit of a geek, I suppose. I don't know if you've ever heard of lean in terms of a time-saving kind of exercise. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's kind of my thing. So I've always looked for time flow management ideas for just organising life in general. So that's how I came across you. But I have searched previously and never found you, and then tried again. I think it could have been early December, and that was when I downloaded your book. And here I am. So
here we are. Okay,
Yay.
So then you're reading the book, and your thoughts were send an email.
Send an email, and I think the first question that I asked you was based on my teaching, what your thoughts were, because you said something related to nothing's ever a waste, basically. And I had a conversation with a friend in the past who it's always one of these things that's kind of niggled in the back of my mind, thinking, am I using my kids as an excuse not to be teaching? Because I did my degree 3 years ago, and I've not done anything for teaching, but that was my plan. I didn't want to be, devoting my time to a big career when my kids are still so young. So in the meantime, I wanted to just kind of keep my hand in. I'm still working, doing my job anyway. I'm self-employed as a hairdresser. And when the kids are that wee bit older, then I would go into teaching. But what my friend had said to me is you're just using that as an excuse. Why are you not doing it now? And I'm like, because I don't think I'm using it as an excuse. And then you start questioning yourself, thinking, am I actually? So
you're a hairdresser right now.
Yes.
And then you went to school to go become like a professor, like a teacher, like at a university.
Lecturer. Yeah.
And what would you be lecturing? What's your topic?
I would be lecturing hairdressing. So in the UK, you have to qualify in TQFE, which is like teaching qualification for adults. So you have to have that, and obviously your qualifications for hairdressing itself. So, like, whatever your profession would be, you would just get the TQFE.
So tell me what you love about right now with your job and with your life, just like how it's set up with your kids at home, and what does it look like right now? And are you happy with where it's at right now?
Yeah, I'm actually. One of the things that does niggle in my mind, I had promised myself that I would create, because I hadn't planned to teach immediately, to keep my hand in the teaching. I had planned to do a database full of I don't know if you've ever heard of a platform called Newsendler. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It is a UK-based thing. So it's basically putting all your knowledge into a platform so that I could then have a kind of database of videos, tutorials, all set up and ready to go for when I do go into the job. But I haven't started it yet because it's very time consuming and very boring, because it's all quite techy, and I'm not, like you're saying about editing videos. I find that really time consuming. So it's just a case of taking what you know and sprinkling it into a wee video would be just perfect if it was all as quick as that.
Where do you find yourself the happiest, though? Are you happiest in, where do you find the most flow in what you're doing? I think that's where my mind is taken. Where are you happiest? Is it something you think you need to do, or is it something that you're happy doing it?
I'm definitely not happy organising the hairdressing teaching side. I love my job, I love doing my job, and I love sharing ideas with people.
Mhm.
But I think I had mentioned to you, Eva, on email, when I did do my placement, I found it very, how would you say it? Territorial, maybe, get into teaching, because I've been self-employed for 18
Mhm.
years. So I've worked on my own, obviously, with my customers, but I'd not get any workmates as such. So when I went into placement, I was kind of the newbie, and I wasn't very welcomed, for want of a better word, because they had all been doing their teaching for years.
Mm.
And he was the newbie coming in and, coming up with all the kind of fresh ideas from uni. And I'm really curious about a lot of things. So I would ask a lot of questions, and they weren't really interested in helping me out or that kind of thing. So I had to find it by myself, basically. I did it, but it was hard work. So that kind of put me off working in that kind of environment, because I think it's going to be, for me, quite a uphill struggle. So where I
Now,
think,
is it just
sorry,
that particular school with those particular teachers, or do you
yeah.
think that that's just how it is across the board? Like, are there other schools that you could teach
Well,
at that maybe don't have that same culture, or do you think is that not an option?
no, I could do. I could. I think I just got. It was bad luck, because I had friends doing the similar. A lot of people were actually in the same boat as me, but I had another friend who did her placement in the other side of Scotland, and she loved it. And the other teachers just took her under her wing, which is kind of what I was hoping for, but never quite achieved it. So, but I think to myself as well, I'm just going to need to suck that one up and get on with it, because teaching is quite like, I think overall teaching can be quite like that. So, yeah.
I'm thinking, if you're not really happy though with some of the experiences. Now, it's just so I'm clear, your teachings are teaching hair and cutting and
Yeah.
all of that, right? So,
Yeah.
and so do you want to go to a school and teach this? Is that what you're saying?
Originally that was what I hoped, but
And then now
since,
you are, just so I'm clear,
uh-huh,
and now you are trying to do like videos to help people.
yes,
And so
because
you're doing your,
Mhm.
I think
so
that's kind of the way forward.
okay, so then I think what comes up for me is there a way that you could approach doing these online classes or whatever to pull in viewers by like doing demonstrations or coming up with a different unique way of doing something that could bring you in an audience because you have something different or unique?
Yes. Yeah,
And whatever
that's
it is, maybe if you were passionate about one certain thing, instead of just going across the board doing something, maybe it's a coloring,
Yeah, Shelley
uh-huh.
way.
Shelley has a friend who's like very famous hair person
Right,
and
okay.
has thousands of people that follow her. And
Uh-huh.
she cuts every single time I've seen a haircut, they're all the same. She cuts in a very specific way and
All right, okay.
goes around the country and like I guess teaches people like
She teaches a way of doing, instead of just weaving the hair. I forgot what. Gosh, she'd be so mad at me for not knowing the name. But she has a technique for doing coloring so that it lasts longer. You don't see the lines where
Oh,
my
baby lights.
leaves. Um,
Is that it?
and
No?
and then she's come up with products to sell to help those procedures easier to do. So she's not really just talking at people. She's actually doing demonstrations and going to different salons.
Mhm.
And it's
So
been,
did she sell like a product to do this then? Is that what you mean?
yes. So like the board that you use to do
Ah, right.
she made her own board. She's got brushes. Now she'll be coming out, she's constantly doing something different and adding to what she
Yes.
does.
What is
That
her
sounds
income?
great.
What does she like? Does she get paid to like teach this somewhere? Does she get paid Like where does her money come from?
Where money comes from. So if, let's say you give a class and you have, you sell tickets for it, and depending on how much you charge, you know, she could charge $500 a person.
So you're saying like she would go to Barbara's salon and then all the stylists there would pay $500 each to come into her class.
But they also get hands-on. So she will have a model and work on it. And then, from there, the other people will have their models or a doll head or whatever it is, and they'll learn these procedures.
Yeah.
And so people really do get hands-on. Plus, she's just really unique and she's fun. And I think that that's what I'm saying. If you, my advice to you is find the part of whatever it is that you want to do that you are truly, that's part of what flow is. Whatever it could be, a simple part of, I do skincare, so I don't know, but let's just say it was eyelash extensions that I wanted to do. I would, because that's what's easy for me to talk about, easy for me to show someone. Find something that you're really passionate about. It doesn't have to be across the board, haircuts, styles, whatever. You could take something and really blow that out of the water.
Niche it down.
Yeah. And make it smaller, and then make what makes you unique. And you everybody who does hair, you know, in the beauty industry, I think they're all unique. It's because you're better at one thing. I don't know for yours, if you're better cutting, or you're better color, or you love to style, or you love doing makeovers, whatever that might be. I just think, how do you want to tell the world what it is? It's almost like us doing this podcast. We're kind of ebb and flowing and figuring it out as we go. So we're kind of going through this, the same thing with you.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't make us feel happy to do it a certain way, we go the other way. And too many times in something that you said is, you know, how hard it was and the struggle. What we think when you hear struggle and hard is that's flow trying to tell you to maybe take a different approach, and you're fighting for what you think is supposed to be the way instead of what is naturally what you're supposed to be doing. You have something to offer this world for sure, or you wouldn't be even doing what you're doing. But I would be more honest with yourself and dig deeper and say, what is the one thing or two things that I really want that the beauty industry isn't offering? What are they not offering that you needed? It could be even that you didn't have the proper help to do what you're doing. And if you hone in on that and that makes you happy, then you go, oh, okay, well, this is the way I'm supposed to go then. And that's it. Listen to your heart. Listen to things along the way, and it'll teach you, don't you think?
Yeah, like for the teaching. So if I were you, and like I'm a teacher at heart, I really enjoy, I mean, podcasting is kind of like teaching, right? We're bringing our knowledge to the world. So if you like teaching, there's so many different ways that you can teach. So first I'd make sure, like, is teaching really your thing? Is that really like, I really enjoy this, I really want to do this? Then it's in what setting and how. So maybe the big school setting with all the people and all the classes, maybe that isn't your thing, but maybe you just were at the wrong school. So maybe say like, okay, I'll explore this one other school and kind of I'm just going to step over there. I'm going to see the culture. I'm going to go meet with one of the teachers there. I'm going to go have coffee, and I just want to know what they're like. So I might keep that door open and just sort of step into it, just to like either validate or invalidate going down that road. But at the same time, to Shelley's point, I think that it's asking you, the universe is asking you to be creative in how you can step into maybe a new space. So maybe it is teaching, but maybe it's something totally different. Maybe you're going salon to salon, or maybe at wherever you're at, people come to you. Maybe it isn't the videos. Maybe it isn't this online video people watch, you know, maybe that isn't your thing. Or you just need a really good video editor. You need to find someone that you can make the videos, and then you pass off that part. You don't have to touch every piece of the project, especially the things that, like, I don't mind editing. I don't hate it, but I don't mind it. And so for me, I go, okay, it's one more thing that I get to learn how to do. Now, if I had to do it all day long, every day, I would hate it.
Oh,
But every
torture.
once in a while, I don't mind doing it. But if it was something that was required in my job and I didn't want to do it, I would either hire it out or I would think I'm not really where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be doing still this, but in a new way.
Yeah.
So I would challenge you to think about what is it that you love about teaching, and is that really the path? And then how are all the different ways that you could possibly teach? And to Shelley's point, what are you going to teach? Are you going to be hair 101 across the board, or are you like really niching down to cuts or color or whatever, something within the realm of hair?
Do you know, it's interesting because see the strengths finder that you suggested?
Yeah.
That actually came up with quite a few different. I've not done that because it comes with wee lessons.
Oh, I did it in college, in graduate school, and so it just gave me like little blurbs. I know there's a whole book, but I didn't like read the whole book. I just kind of
No, me neither. I only took it really to get the questionnaire, and then it tells you what your kind of 5 strengths are.
Yeah.
So it's funny because what you're saying about honing in on something, one of the things that I really enjoy doing, and this is probably where I kind of ruffled some feathers maybe in my placement, was because I could identify quite quickly what people's struggles were. To me, it's blatantly obvious, but to others, it's not always as obvious as what I can see it. So I'll just give you an example. Like a couple of the students were really struggling to get through their assessments, and like one girl in particular, she dropped her comb a lot. She couldn't quite connect dots with her sections, and just wee basic things. And the boss came to me and said, "Do you want to do 1-to-1 with her? Because you've got to cover that as part of your assessment anyway." I'm like, right, okay. So the wee girl was really nervous because she, in my opinion, had this dexterity issues. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so like even and she had really big all the wee kids have always got these really long nails, and they weren't helping her any. But she didn't want to part with the nail. So I had said to her, I says, have you ever thought about using your nail as, for your sectioning? And she's like, all right, but they said that you're not really supposed to do it. I says, but it's not going to do you any harm because you can get a really clean section with a nail. So I had gave her some exercises. There's like, I can't actually remember what they're labelled, but it was like closing your eyes and trying to touch your fingers with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
And you speed it up, and it actually improves your dexterity. So after I did it a couple of times with this wee girl, our sectioning was fine. I think it was just nervousness was taking over her. And, after me sitting having a wee conversation with her for 5-10 minutes, she was actually over it. But in my opinion, I think her teacher should identify that a lot faster rather than that wee girl struggling, because it was actually really damaging her confidence. Do you know what I mean?
But
so, sorry.
What I'm thinking, what's coming up for me though, is there's one of your answers right there. If you just took that, you can see the good in people. You can see their struggles. That's just a natural thing that you have, which is really what makes you special. So I would take that in any form. And it makes you happy, right? To be able to help this woman, that's what fills you up, right? So if you get to do that every day, all day, so you could start by being a personal critic to a loving critic of somebody that you could say, are you struggling? If you are, I'm your gal. I don't know how you would promote that, but I think that would be,
there's nothing
for
like
those
that in hairdressing
that are becoming new into hair, and just say, I can be that person to help you, get through some of your struggles, help with your confidence. And you could go and even, I don't know, spend 3 days with them and do one-on-ones, and charge people as like a personal hairstyling coach.
Yep, exactly.
And
I would love to do that.
Right. So when you're saying you'd love to do it, then that's the thing. That's what Eva and I are trying to tell you. Maybe it's not online. Maybe it's starting in your area.
Go to all the kids who are like
the schools.
Go to the schools of who's coming in new or who's about to have their exam. I mean, I don't know. Do they offer math tutors and chemistry tutors?
And you know what? When you do,
go be a hair tutor. You
and
know,
this is the other thing as well. Is I'm really keen to. I think, in my opinion, hairdressing can be taught a lot younger than what it is. But because of the instruments that we use, different things, you know, because they're sharp and different things, they're not keen. But you can still teach it. You don't need to be using these sharp instruments. And there is one school that's not that. It's a boat journey away from where I am, which is probably about an hour away. They're the only school that's teaching it to kids. But they're in a different council from us locally. So none of our high schools have it at all, and it should, in my opinion.
But I really see that this is something for you that I think you should really consider, because people need you. It's a scary thing, the confidence. If you could figure out a way, and it's only going to work as you go, you'll grow. But helping people to figure out what gives them confidence, what they can, you know, that if they didn't do something right, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be a great hairdresser. And really, I remember when I went to esthetician school, and I wasn't doing well in the theory part because I'm dyslexic and I'm not a great reader. And my tests, I would just pass. You know, I was getting C's. And I remember that teacher that I had, Miss Angela, she took me one day because I ran out of there crying because I didn't do well on a test and I had studied. And she took me into another room and she said, Shelley, you're going to do great at this, because what you do, I can't teach. The way you care about people, the way you, you know, handle your customers. It doesn't matter. You can learn the answers to this test, but I can't really teach you how to love people and be nurturing. And who did I pick for the man that, you know, was in the wheelchair? She said, I picked you to be his person because I knew you would be loving to him. People would just be, you know, making him feel, you didn't even put gloves on. So that's the thing that I'm trying to help you to see, is that, you know, what lights you up, because then what you're doing every day is effortless.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense.
What's your timeline for like your kids? And did you have like a timeline of when you wanted to start this new thing? Or are you waiting for your kids to get older? Are you like, heck, I'd start tomorrow if it meant I could still have the same flexibility and the things that you enjoy about being self-employed?
Yeah, I probably would start it tomorrow if I could keep it within the realms of my kids being in school and me still being there at either end. Unfortunately, if I was to go to a school or a college that wasn't local to me, I would be sacrificing my time with my kids for, you know, homework and all that kind of thing. So I had it in my head that it would be high school, both of them being in high school. I've got one in high school. He's 12, Max, and Harley is 10. So he's 2 years away from high school. So, but I think if I did start the beginnings of something like that, I could still do that within, you know, their school hours kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think start exploring. I mean, you're not on a timetable. You don't have to decide tomorrow what it is that you want to do. So I would say look at these, be open, go on walks. I know this is going to sound kind of crazy because this is where like you have to really tap into your own intuition.
Yeah.
Go on walks, listen to inspiring music, and just have a conversation with whatever you believe. Like, all right, I need some ideas. I want to feel inspired to go down a certain road. I know I want to teach, but that could look like 100 different things. So how can I still maintain being a mom, being there for my kids, having the schedule that I want, and then having the impact that I want, not just cutting hair, but teaching the future generations who are going to be
Yep.
cutting hair, and to give them the confidence. And just think about all different ways that could look. Yes, it could look like online courses, but maybe that's not your thing. Maybe it really is one-on-one or one to 5, you know, a handful of students. So who do you know? The next move, I would say, is you're like 1 degree away from it. It will pop up. Someone will say something. You'll know someone who owns a salon, and you'll say, you know, can I just come in and do a workshop?
Observation.
Yeah, no, like a workshop with your stylist. Just plan, and maybe charge them like $50, something like just reasonable. So you're still making some money. So it feels like it's a little bit of work, but then you just teach something new to these people. And you could go into the school. I don't know what the rules are there with the school and stuff, but if you could find some students, like let's say, you know, a girl who's in the school, and you could say, bring 5 of your friends over and I'll make coffee and tea, and I'm going to teach you guys something, or I want to see where your struggles are. And let me see if I can give you some tips with each of your struggles, you know? So maybe
I would say, I'm a hair coach. Be very direct. I'm a hair coach, and I can help you with your issues. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm your gal. Go to the schools and you promote yourself that way, and just say, you know, the first time I see you, and even if it's a 10-minute appointment or whatever, you know, I feel like, even like with Eva and I, we're not making money doing what we're doing. We're still learning. It's almost like this is school for us.
Yeah, but
and
that's
so
cool though.
we don't charge or make money for our podcast. And so I think to really, while you're learning and getting it together, go and give of yourself and your heart to these kids, and go to the schools and say, and then see how much of a demand there is for that, and say, I would really, you know, you can have the people come to you so that you can be available. You can do school hours, you know, that, you know, you make your own schedule, so you can make your schedules right along with whatever it is. And you say, you could promote, you know what, just before your test, I'm the coach that gives you the confidence that you need. And then you prep them for their test, you know, what they're going to need to do, how they need to keep washing their hands, if they drop some, like, really be that coach to say, you know, you're just going to learn, take some of their pressures off. This is just going to be basic. You know, this test, all you're going to try to do is either do the test, you know, and hone in on that, or say, I'm your gal that once you've passed your test and you want to get out there and be in the work world, I can help you with some of your issues. I just need a little bit of time with you. And so your first time with me is $50 an hour, and, you know, then see where it goes. But that's I seeing you. For me, if you like that kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's just start testing things. You said yourself, you have technically 2 years. So just start, like, just try having people over, going to a salon, going to the school. Something will pull at you. You'll feel like, oh, I really like it here, or that was really fun. Or, oh my gosh, no,
I asked
not
the
that.
universe. I asked the universe when I went to do what I did is, you know what, God, please just give me a sign. I don't need a sign a month from now. I need to know you can hear me, and I need some kind of a sign today that this is where I'm supposed to be going. And you know what? You get your answers. You just have to listen and ask. And you're going to get some. That's the synchronicities that in Eva's, well, I don't know.
We talked a little bit about
the synchronicity. I thought there was just a little bit, but synchronicities of one door opening and then another one, and it'll go easy when you're on the right track. Those doors are just going to keep opening. You may have to take a left here, but you have to listen to be able to take the left. And don't be afraid if something doesn't work. Just like, don't be afraid that you've put in all this time for what you've done, because look, it brought you here to us today.
No, yeah, definitely. I know. I totally agree with you.
Right?
I've in my heart, I think I don't feel as if I've wasted anything, because it's taught me so much. You You know, it's just as I said when one of my really good friends had said that, it's something that's always niggled in my brain, you know, and that's what made me ask you the question, thinking, oh, wonder if you could help me with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's that your friend kind of wants you to start and just do it. I think and that I don't think anything's wrong with that. I think it's great to be like, okay, well then let's get to it. Let's get to it. But to it, what is it?
Yes,
so if it is only you have to be a lecturer at a class that you have to show up 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, that may not be the it for you, and that's why you're dragging your feet, or that's why there is some resistance, because your heart really wants to be with your kids, or your heart really enjoys that making your own schedule, or your heart wants the freedoms that whatever the parts of your life that you like now, you don't have to give up for what else you want. Okay. You're going to take the parts that you want now and you're bringing them with you, and they're non-negotiables. Like, that's what I think. I think if it takes me away from something that I love doing, I'm not going to do it. Like, it's off the table. I need to come up with a different way. There's another way. So
that's great.
Keep the things that you want with you, and then what can fit into that puzzle of your life that's going to just make it even better. Still reaching into that future, but you're creating your own reality. You're creating your own future. You're not stepping into someone else's vision of you, or this kind of in a box. It has to look a certain way. So really just use that creative side of you to say, well, how could I teach this? And where are the needs? When we talk about the needs in the book, you know, what are the needs right now of those young people? Maybe it's the high school. I don't know how hard it is to get in there and do some afternoon class, or, you know, whatever. Maybe you go and you teach in the high school, the home ec type hair class, if they would let you do that. Heck, then you're in the school with your kids, you know, like you're there for part of the day teaching and doing that while they're off doing their thing. And so you're right next to them. So I think there's lots of different roads you can go down, and just start sitting with those ideas. Go on a walk, envision yourself doing it. Do you get excited? Do you start connecting dots? Oh, and then I could do this. Oh, and then it could look like this. And then. Or are you like, oh my gosh, that seems like
overwhelming. You know that it's not good. The other thing is too, you can even do like what we're doing. You could Zoom with people. You could get on, and it doesn't mean you even, you know, if you need it financially, and you can charge people even on a Zoom call. You can be still that hair coach and be on a Zoom. You could even show cuts and everything on your Zoom. Just where are you pointing your camera? There's a lot of things you can do, even when somebody's in a different state. You could, your sky's the limit. You could do this anywhere if you could figure out just you know, in my opinion, you start out small and then it's not overwhelming. Just make a little bit of a step. And if that means just if you know somebody who's just finished school, you know, ask them, get on a Zoom with them, say, okay, we'll get your doll head and we'll both Zoom, and you can teach that way. You can help that person, and you see what you like about it. And if you don't like it, then you do something different. But it doesn't matter. You can make time if you really, in my opinion, there's no waiting 2 years. The time is now.
I said that 2 years just so you feel like, oh, I've got time. No, but she's right.
The truth is, life is to live now. And so what if it isn't perfect? Right. That's why we're such a good team, is because
there's no such thing as perfect anyway.
Just, you know, drag their feet a little bit. Oh no, sister, come on, we're going forward. And so just a little bit each day. Today is a step. What we're doing right now, this is a step. You take whatever works, you ditch the rest. Right? And you go, okay, well, if one thing we say helps you to get you to the next step, then we've done our job.
So what questions do you have right now? We've talked a lot, given you a lot of ideas, kind of brought some things to the forefront. Is there anything right now that you're like, okay, or that's coming up for you?
Not so much, but I did have a question for you, Eva. You started up it was for kids as a result of Did you? I'm assuming that you did all this when you had children.
No, so I started it when I was 21. So I'm 40 something. I don't 44,
Me too.
45. I don't know. I was born in 76, whatever that makes.
21 up here.
I don't know. So I started it when I was 21. I have 6 kids though, right? So and I've every year I worked from home for many years. It was a volunteer thing I did for many years. I did it just because I wasn't a baker. I didn't craft. I didn't have a hobby. Like my hobby was running this organization, and I love doing it. And then the more kids I had, they just all came along. So like every summer we'd go to camp and my whole family would pack up and we'd all just go.
Wow.
In fact, the day after, so I had the twins when my California camp session had just started. I planned all my kids around summer, so I wasn't having babies in the summer, but my twins were not planned. So they were born 2 days before one of my camps started, and then in California. And so then a week old after I had a C-section, I rented an RV, put all my 6 kids plus brand new twins in an RV and drove halfway across America to Nebraska. Wow. And did our camp there with 100 kids, 50 staff, and my brand new babies. I'm like, who's got them? You got them? You're good? Okay, let's go. You know,
brilliant.
So kind of go with it. Like the kids to me, they're not a burden. They're just a added to your life, you know?
Oh,
so
totally. Yeah.
I work when I can. We do our podcast at 8:30 and it's 15 minutes because I have kids that are homeschooled now. So I can't, like, I would love to do this. I'd love to come over and sit on the same screen as Shelley and have a little like talk show kind of thing. But that's just not what my life is right now. I have these kids at home that are on computers that don't know what they're doing, that need my help. So I have to adjust my work schedule around what my kids' life looks like and have a balance between both.
Definitely.
So I don't know if that helps answer your question, but
no, it's really inspiring actually because it's doable.
Yeah, it's totally doable. Kids are so resilient. And here's the thing that what I've noticed. So my daughter's 20 right now. She's the first one out of the house. And then my son, I have a 17-year-old son, a soon to be 15, soon to be 13. And then the twins are 9.
Wow.
And I think that when we pursue our dreams, when we follow what we really want, and when we're relentless in it and flexible, then it's the example that you're giving to your kids. So my daughter's out there in the world doing her thing. She lives in a different state and she dropped out of college because it wasn't her thing and started pursuing her career. And she just actually took a new job. And so she started an Etsy shop making earrings. Like, I don't know. Right. But it's just like, when we pursue what we want, then our kids go, oh,
yes,
my mom can do that thing. Like, then I can do whatever I want to do too. And truly, that's what we need the world to start. Like, we all need to be tapping into ourselves and putting what we really want and love doing into the world. And then that's how we heal the world, slowly but surely. So very doable. And it sets a good example for your children.
Well, and your kids learn by not what you really say, it's by what you do.
Yeah, I believe that.
When you're doing something that you're passionate about and you're happy, you bring that over into your personal life and they see a whole other side, that life isn't just, I mean, not just, but it's not just about them. That mom has another side, a piece of the pie, you know, because to be really happy, you need a little bit of everything. I think you need personal time. You need your career that makes you happy, or whatever creative side you need to use. And then being a parent, there's no better gift in life than our kids.
I know.
And to be there for them. So
definitely.
Does that help you?
Yes. It does.
And you know what? Good for you for going back to school. Like, I think that shows too.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Like, you can go back to school at any age and you can go learn something new, and you can, so that's just permission for them too, that it doesn't, and when you come out of school, it's not like, oh, I got it all figured out. I went to school, I got my degree, and now I know exactly what I want to do. No. And that probably won't be like that for them either. So what a great example that you're like, you know what, you're going to go to school, you're going to learn something, and then you're going to come out and go, what do I do with this now? Like, now I have this degree. Just like those boys and girls that are graduating from the hair school, right? Like, they don't, now what? Like, now I know how to, I have now I have to go to get so many hours done. I have to go work at a salon, or I need to get a job here. Like, they graduate and they still got to figure out what's next. And so that's a phase for all of us, is that kind of what's next phase, and just being really flexible with it and not so attached to the outcome, other than the outcome needs to be joy. Like, that's the only outcome. There might be challenges and struggles along the way, but I am in the pursuit of it brings me joy. So even if the outcome is 2 people watch our show, it doesn't matter, because I loved doing it. So think about that. Like, the pursuit, you can't be holding out like, oh, down here's where all the joy is going to come, because what if it doesn't? And then all this journey, putting it in, like, if you went to school all this time and hated being in school, and then you graduate and then you get a job that you don't even like, it's like, for what? You're just wasting your life. So don't waste your life. That's my point. Pursue joy, darn it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell her too. Like, don't fight against what you really love, and just because you think that's the way that you're supposed to do it, you get to make the rules. You know. And so, what in all of this process, I'm just curious, what makes you the happiest? When are you the most happy?
I would say I love spending time with people. Positive people is probably the word that I'm looking for, and just bouncing off, ideas. I could bore you to death and tell you all my 101 ideas that I've got fittering away in the back of my brain. I just like-minded people.
Did you ever think of writing a book about it too?
I've thought about that as well.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe even, like you're saying, you have in the back of your head, maybe just start writing those ideas down. And for me, because of my dyslexia, exactly.
I love it.
But maybe do it in a way that, you know how like you have the computers for dummies.
Yes.
I don't like to say dummies, but
I know I don't like that either. But I know the books you're meaning.
But you know, so there's got to be a nicer way to say it. But what I'm saying is, hairstyles made simple.
Yes.
To where people don't have to. That's just they can just look at it. It's almost like that's one of the things I love about your book is it's big writing. It seems simple to read through, and it just
tiny as well, but it's really compact. Information.
That's only one chapter. There's a whole book, but I couldn't get it all out. I was so afraid. There's so much more. That was
the thing is though, that for that only being a wee tiny book, it seemed I've read countless books on, like I'm a big fan of Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty and all these coaches, right? But see, when I read, I don't know if it was just timing, like I've read all their stuff and then yours connected the dots, to me.
I totally feel like my stuff connects the dots. Can I tell you, when I listen to podcasts, I'm like, you just need to connect the dots. It's like I hear them come right up to the idea, right up to it, and then they just like back away. And I'm like, just keep going. You're right there. You're about to say it.
But they skim over it. Do you know what I mean? Other books is as if it's like all the things that you were saying is there, but yours flows.
Oh, I love you.
That's so wonderful.
Thanks, Karen. Now I need to find more Karens in the world.
I'm free.
Believe it, and do it. And like, I want you to be successful, because then it's reflective, like, wow, this book can really make a difference for someone. Like, she read this book and then it gave her some ideas and she reached out, she got some more ideas. And now look, like, I want to know in 6 months where you are and what you're doing and what things you've tried and what things worked and what things didn't work. And, like, I'd love to stay connected with you and see your journey as it starts to unfold, because I'm so curious, like, how these ideas and concepts work for someone else in their life, especially someone on the other side of the world. Like,
well, and I think what we should do is we should make, time to get back with you and, see how far you've come and what kind of bricks you've laid along the way till we speak again. Because it's super important to us. That's
Mhm.
this is what our journey is about, is taking wonderful people as yourself. You're already so like-minded in the sense of being positive, the cup's half full. We're so proud of you for just being where you are. And now we just want to help you to take just that next step, because you have all the answers. We're just here to be your cheerleaders and to let you know that somebody's on your team to help. What we can see sometimes when you get that outside perspective, when you can't hone in on seeing, like in meeting you, we learn. That's why I said we need to do it to where we can ask you questions, instead of just answering your questions without knowing you. It would be too broad of an answer. So that's why this time that we're having is so important, so that we can really help you to, when you hang up from this call, that you say, oh my gosh, I have a little bit more direction. So now what do I want to do first? And you've got all the answers. You've got this.
You just have to believe it. And this is the thing, when you start to be afraid, like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know what.
You'll see us going, yes, you can.
You just do it anyway. Like, fear is an illusion. Do not let it hold you back. And who cares if you fail? Who cares if you failed miserably in whatever first path you start to go down? Because you will learn something from it, and then you will take it, and you'll, just like you want to keep the good things in your life right now, pull out the good things from that experience and keep it with you, and then go down the next path and try the next thing. And eventually, and maybe not even eventually, maybe it will be the first thing. Maybe it'll be the second thing. Something will resonate, something will click, the doors will start to open, the synchronicities will start to happen. I saw it in my sister's life, like crazy. She's like, you will not believe the other synchronicity that happened today. And it's just like one thing after the next. And that is what will happen. And I think that this is how humans are meant to live. Like, we're supposed to be tapped into ourselves and the universe and nature in a way that it responds back to us by telling us, yes, it feels right for you and it feels right for us. And so keep going.
See, this is one of the cool things I think about lockdown, is you get that opportunity just to take a wee step back. And I think there's been so many positive things. I know there's been a lot of devastation and all that, but I think there's been a lot of positive outcomes if you're just open enough maybe to see it.
Yeah.
So
what's going to be your first step? What are you going to do now? Or do you have any more questions off the top of your head right now?
I don't think
do you have something like?
I do need to tell you this though, Shelley, I think this is for you. You cost me a lot of money the other day there when I listened to your podcast, because I went and bought this.
Oh, cool!
It only got delivered today. This is the UK version of, I can't remember what yours is called.
The Thoughtful Journal.
Isn't it right? Yes. You can't get it here. Can't get it here at all. So this is something kind of similar.
Oh, very good. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I bought two, one for me and my mum. And
that's so great. And then you can put all of your thoughts, your dreams, everything in there, and then watch it unfold.
Because I've actually got Mel Robbins' 5-minute journal, I think it is, but it's not got prompts in it, and it's lay up the stairs for, I've probably had it a year and a half, I think, and I've never wrote anything in it. It's got a couple of wee things for your balance, I think that's about it, but it's good to have the prompts to ask you what you're thinking.
Yes,
she loves it.
When you're not a person who does journaling, that is the way for us to start. And that, it's heavy on my heart right now that I want you to go easy on yourself, in the sense that, your timing is your timing. And so long, in my opinion, because I'm not where I'm supposed to be either. It's a process in life, right? To get to our dreams. So I think that the most important thing is that you be kind and loving to yourself, and give yourself the time that you need to learn to journal, because we can't give what we don't have.
No.
And so as we gain it for ourselves, we can then give it. You just I get such a warmth from you, and that you're just such a loving person. the world deserves you. And
Oh,
so
it's a nice thing to say.
it's so true though. And once you realize that, the last thing I ever wanted to do was be on camera because I'm so judgmental of, do I look good? My neck is sagging. How is this? I'm getting old. All these things. Well, you know what? Those thoughts are part of my journey, and I'm doing better and better as I go. And I'm forgetting even that I'm on camera. And that's not what I want people to love me for anyway. I want them to love me for me and what I can help them to achieve to be happy in their lives.
Definitely.
And
I think I said that to Eva, that I didn't want, well, it's one of the things that I don't really like is hearing my voice on camera or on a video or anything. But I said that to you, I just need to get over it. Suck it up.
yeah, you just got to do it anyway. Do it anyway. And that's why, and when you have your struggles, I don't know if you heard our podcast this morning, but I woke up in not a great place. And the first thing I did was grab my, Flow Life Funnel book and just randomly just opened it and believed that whatever I was supposed to read at that point was going to give me that little bit of boost to go forward. I mean, and even Eva herself, she has a lot of wisdom, but she still has struggles too. And so even for herself to go back and remind herself, these aren't just ideas for everyone else. They're ideas for herself, for me. It's just a way of life. If we're never going to be there, that's the pursuit of more joy and more happiness. It's abundant. We can have as much as we seek out for. So I'm excited to see where you're going to go. Just be easy on yourself. Just do a little bit each day. And when you get the momentum, then you stay with it. And then if you need to slow down a little bit, you slow down, but just don't stop.
Yes.
Keep going, because 2 years will fly by and you'll think, if I don't take it from my head and put it down in a book or whatever, you're all the goodness that you have and these ideas you're keeping from the world that could be better.
Yeah.
And my final thought for you is when we say start small, like it can be super small. It can be if it can be having one person over and helping that one person with whatever their struggles are on their exam. Like I go back to the girl with the nails, right? So can you just help one person learn one new thing more proficiently or pass that test or whatever, where you don't have to you don't need a business card. You don't need a website. You don't need anything but to offer your service. And from there, that will give you enough enough energy to do the next thing and then do the next thing. And if you have to wait for everything to look perfect, which is what happened with me in the book, I needed everything to look perfect. I wrote the book 2 summers ago in a week. And I've just been perfecting it for 2 years. And finally I have to just do something. I have to put something out.
So it's been worth it.
Chapter because I was too afraid of everything. So when you think I could be coaching all these women or doing this or teaching in this school, I mean, that might just be so big.
Yes.
So don't let it overburden you to keep you from making any moves at all. So what are you doing today? What can you do tomorrow? What can you do this week? That's easy. That's a step in that direction. That is in alignment with your values and with what it is you want to create, and just see how it feels. How did that go? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? Really take the data and evaluate it and take what works and ditch the rest, and then do it again. And maybe now you have 2 people, or maybe now you go this way instead, totally something different, just to see how that goes. So just be in this exploratory phase, and there's no rush, but also do something every day.
Yes.
And
definitely.
Let's how much time should we wait before?
I don't know. How much time do you want?
Or you can reach out to us.
We should check in though. Or just, I want to set a time where we can just touch base and say okay, because that's the other thing, being held accountable, having someone that you need to report back to.
Yes.
Even if it's just us.
It so works. Yeah, because
so
that's what I was saying to you about note taking. Did I say that to you in the email? Did I?
I don't know.
I've done loads of, but books upon books, and I don't like throwing out any of my study stuff. I always think that no, there's going to be a use for that one day. I can't. So they're all filed away. But would I go back and actually read them? Would I know even where to look? Do you know what I mean? One of the things that I connected with your book was do an introduction of notes. So if I, like do you remember I said that I went back after page 42 or whatever, I went right back to the beginning and I wrote just a couple of sentences on each page and page numbered it and actually put a wee kind of header down. And I thought, that's such a simple, easy way to remember what you've put where. Do you know what I mean? Just like a wee kind of file. So
yes. I love
wish I did that when I was in uni.
All right, well, we're gonna contact you in a couple weeks then,
Okay.
and it really doesn't matter. Don't feel pressure. It's just a call to check in and say we're here and that we care, and just
that's lovely.
Where you're at, because it matters. You matter.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Do you have any final thoughts or questions or anything that you want to ask or?
Yeah. How do you do all your editing really fast?
How? Oh no, editing the book. I've had like 6 different people
on like your podcasts. How do you do that?
Oh, so this is how we get around that. We don't edit. So what I realized is I don't like editing. Like this, I'll edit. I'll take it into iMovie and I'll edit it, and then I'll just kind of play a small clip, and then I'll put the rest somewhere so people can watch it if they want to see like, hey, I have that same issue or whatever. But one of the things is I tried making videos where it was like me and kind of talking about flow with the camera and setup and everything. I was horrible at it. I kept messing up. I kept I'd go back and push stop and start again. And then I'd look at myself and I was too critical. And I just decided I have to do it live. There's no editing. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is. And so that's when I came to Shelley in October. I was on a walk and it just popped in, just do it live. One less step of processing.
When we are on every day, there's no editing. It is what it is. There's no, if I say something, you can't take it back. It is what it is. We're on there. It's live. There's no changing it.
That is a really big stumbling block for me, is the editing. It seems like such a waste of time.
So wait, it is a waste.
It's such a waste.
Right? It is a waste. So that's why you just don't do it. And just be yourself and show up. And you know what? Like Eva would always say, what's the worst that can happen? You have to just, if you stumble, you just pick yourself back up, and then people know you're human. Yeah. Because we all stumble. We all have things that happen, and it's not the end of the world.
I know. That's very true, actually.
So you could even, you could do it live. You could say, okay, for all of you who are doing heading into your exams, let's have a study session. Let's have a coaching call and do a call with a bunch of people, and then just go, okay, what are your struggles? What is your hard thing? And then maybe, you're kind of facilitating the conversation with everyone. Maybe you put in your ideas, but then maybe someone else is like, you know how I remember that one thing? Or do you know how I hold the thing? Or do you know, this lady told me to use my nail and I did it and it works. You never know what you could do. So maybe doing it live and maybe teaching that live format.
Maybe on a blog or something like that.
Blog, yeah, or go hire an editor. I have a friend, if you want to know his name.
Yes,
I have someone who does editing. So if you already have stuff that needs editing, he's super inexpensive and he's nice and he does a good job. I'll
brilliant.
His name.
Cool. Yeah, please do, actually. Even if I just did it for one to see what it looks like, because I kind of know in my head what I want to do, but I don't know all the technical terms to actually do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
His name's Kevin. I'll get you in touch with him.
Brilliant. Maybe that'd be great. Also. Another wee thing I was going to tell you as well, I didn't just buy the thoughts journal. I bought a jigsaw as well. A Spider-Man Marvel jigsaw that I'm going to do with my youngest.
Oh, you're so cute. This is so great.
Because again, I think you guys were saying it's like spending that wee bit of quality time. It doesn't need to be doing, because we can't do anything outdoors really at the moment. So yeah, definitely. So
See, and you know what? It's just people helping people.
Yep.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what's so cool is that as far away as when you hang up today, I know when we do, we'll think we're so happy we got to meet you and spend time with you. And that's priceless, isn't it?
yeah,
And
absolutely. That's why
and then you're going to be able to go along your day. And I just feel good that some of the things that we've said, that someone actually listened, and you went out and got the journal and the puzzle and
albeit though, I've only listened to one podcast. Who knows how much money I'm going to spend when I listen to the rest?
we don't always recommend buying things. That's for sure. You just have to listen to that one.
Oh, you know what though? I don't know how old your kids are, but there is a good book. It's called Alphabet for Humanity.
They're 10 and 12.
Alphabet.
But even so, 10 and 12,
they still might like it. Yeah.
it's
Alphabet.
book. Alphabet for Humanity.
Humanity. I'll look that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shelley has
I'll tell you one, will I?
Okay, yes. Oh, how cute is she? She's gonna go get it.
Right. Have you ever seen these? It's wee boxes that you get these on Amazon. They're only about, I don't know, I think I paid £7. It's probably about $9 maybe. And it's all these wee cards.
Oh.
And it's what would you choose? So it's a conversation starter with your kids. You don't need to be any particular age to do it. So here's one for you. What would you choose? Always wear shoes one size too small, or always wear clothes 3 sizes too big? The kids love it.
I'll wear the ones too tight for sure.
I would wear clothes too big for sure.
I would wear it too big.
I would be totally fine in big old t-shirts.
And you know what's so funny is I'd wear the too tight. If as long as it looks good, I'll suffer through it.
No way. I could not.
My
feet matter too much to me. I cannot wear shoes that are. I got to go on hikes and walks. And what am I going to do with jacked up feet? Because I'm
exactly.
Isn't that a funny conversation? Okay, I have to get that. What is it called? Show me the box one more time.
Which one would you choose? Which would you choose? Sorry.
Which would you choose?
There's loads of different types and things. But it's really good. The kids love it. It's a hoot.
Oh, we're gonna have to
get that.
And then we're gonna have to tell everyone on the podcast. Now, we tell you to go buy things every once in a while.
You could probably print these out.
Thank you for being with us today. This has been so great. This has been so great. Well, we're going to check back in with you in a few weeks.
Yeah, like 2 weeks. Let's just plan. I'll email you and we'll find a time that we can meet again like this and just kind of check in and see what maybe some new ideas or if some challenges have come up or some what do I do about this? Just write them down and then see if maybe you can work them out yourself. Like maybe the answer will come. I had this question, but then I waited 2 days and my friend said something and whoop, there was the answer. So there'll probably be some things that'll work themselves out, but I'd be curious just to see where you're at in your journey in a couple weeks. And then we'll just kind of go from there. But I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And buying the book and applying it to your life. That's just my hope was that it doesn't just sit on a shelf somewhere, that it helps one person in the world.
I think I would read it quite a few. I do return to a lot of books anyway, and I definitely think yours is going to be one of them. So thank you.
Oh, Karen, if you would go write a review, I think if you got it on Amazon or whatever, I would love it. I would love to get a review from you because I think that will help people when they're surfing through and if they see how it's actually useful. There's some.
I think I did actually. I think I did. But was it on Audible? Maybe. Oh no, it couldn't have been on Audible.
It wasn't. Yeah, it's not on Audible yet. You know, it's only an hour and 47 minutes on Audible. It's not even very long.
Have you got it on Audible?
I recorded it all. Now I just have to wait for it to be approved.
Ah, right. Okay.
It's a 30-day process or something.
Cool. No, I'll definitely do that. I'll make sure that I cover it on all bases.
Thanks, Karen.
All right.
No bother.
We'll be in touch. Thank you.
You take care. See you later.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye, Karen.
Bye-bye.